Hey, what's going on people from the internet? This is Surpass, and today's video I'm gonna be doing an $800 PC build. Don't forget to smash like, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications bells. Without any further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, for the components we had the B450 Tomahawk, which is gonna be the motherboard, and on the left we're gonna have the 680 plus bronze EVGA, which is gonna be the power supply. We had the 2600 Ryzen, which is gonna be the generation 5. Next we had the NVMe, which is gonna be the SSD, and it's gonna be powering up the computer where we're gonna install the Windows. We had the case, which is gonna be the P400. It's gonna be a tempered glass edition. For the GPU we had the Phanteks 1660 Ti from Asus, and then we had the memory RAM, which is the Vengeance LPX 300 MHz. And lastly we had an extra 1TB hard drive. To get started, you've laid down your motherboard on the table. Make sure that the surface is straight. Then we grab the CPU, which is the 2600 AMD. Once you have it open, make sure to line up the yellow arrow to the white arrow in the motherboard, and make sure to not apply pressure to the motherboard when you put in the CPU. But before putting the CPU, you just lift off the lever. Then without bending any pin and not applying pressure, you put your CPU to the motherboard and you're golden. And then after you're done, you just put down the lever to secure it tightly in place. Next we are installing the memory RAM, which is the Vengeance LP 3000 MHz. Let's open it up and install it into the motherboard. The way we do it is by locating in the motherboard right here where it says the memory RAM. It says that the space is second and 4 is where the RAM goes. So we just place the memory RAM sticks, and before that we have to align it where this little indentation is in the memory RAM. That way we avoid to break off the memory RAM or the memory pins. So you applying firm pressure in both sides at the same time, and when you hear the click, the motherboard is set. Do the same thing with the second one and you're golden. And the next step is the SSD, which is the NVMe Intel SSD seats. So the way we install this one is by locating the M.2 slot. Once you locate it, you put it in a 90-degree angle. That way you avoid any breaking or any bending on the material. So once you locate it, you adjust the screw, which is the one that we have right here, and then you go ahead and put the second screw and screw it to the motherboard. That way it's all secure and tight, all ready to move into the next step. The next step is the in-stock cooler. It comes pre-applied with some thermal paste, and be careful not to touch it like I did right now. So I'm gonna clean that up and apply some more, but just to show you the purpose, we're gonna start unscrewing the plastic holders that come with the motherboard. That way we can adapt our own stock cooler. Once you have it removed, you are ready to connect the CPU fan, and now we connect the 4 pins into the CPU fan connector, which is on the top of the motherboard, like so. Now we are ready to connect the AMD fan, and in the video I make a mistake. The way you do it is the AMD going to the left, and I put the logo in the right for some reason, so I'll correct it later in the video. Once you position the fan, the only thing left is to screw the fan. Once you screw it in, it should be locked into place and you're ready for the next step. Now we're ready to tackle into the Phanteks case. So the way we do it, we lay it down flat, and now we put the IO shield in the case. That way we avoid any conflict later on, because it will be a pain to install it once again. So you just press it down really hard, like applying firm pressure. And after doing so, we're going for the next step, which is the motherboard. We're gonna locate it into the case. The way we do it, we slide it over and we slightly put it in a 90 degrees. That way we can align it with the IO shield, also making sure that you align it with the standoff. In my case, it came already installed, but if you don't have it in your case, you need to install it. Using the screws that come in the case, you always make sure to use your wrist and not your whole hand, and when you screw them, make sure to do a crisscross pattern. That way it doesn't have like pressure in just one side, and make sure to not over tighten them. The next step is to mount the SSD drive, but before doing anything else we're gonna connect everything from the case to the motherboard. For example, this blue connector is gonna be the USB 3.0. This way we have the connections ready. In the same manner we're gonna do the same thing with the HD audio, which is gonna be in the bottom left corner. Once connected it should look like this, and the last step from the motherboard to the case is gonna be connecting the SATA cable, which is gonna be connected from the SSD drive, and then we pass the cable through the case to the motherboard like so. Once you have it from the other side, you connect it into the first pin, which is this one. After doing all that, we are ready to set up the power supply unit, which is gonna go at the bottom like so. After setting it up, we are ready to screw it, which is gonna be 4 screws like so. Once you have the power supply unit in place, you're gonna start by passing this cable, which is the 24 pin ATX connector. That's gonna be powering the motherboard. The advantage of this cable is that it can only go in one way, like I'm showing right here. There's no way that you can put it in another side, so this is not easy to make a mistake in. Same thing with the PCI and the CPU connector. Thanks to that, you have one less problem to worry about when you are troubleshooting. We do the same thing with the CPU connector. Once connected, you now have power in the CPU. And this is the last set of cables that we're gonna be connecting to the PC, and this going to the header that it says JFP1. And the first set of cables that we're gonna plug in is the power LED and the power switch, which is gonna be looking like so. The way you do that is looking face down. It's our best practice because most of the motherboards support it that way. And the second set is the HDD LED plus and minus and the reset switch, and they should be looking like so. And in any case, the instructions are not clear. I put a chart, that way you can have an imagery, and the way I set it up is the green being the neutral and the positive charge, and the red is gonna be the negative charge. And now we're ready to tackle the GPU, and first we need to unscrew this little cap, that way we can access to the GPU slots. And once we had the little panel or cover removed, we're gonna access to the GPU slot and grab our 1660 Ti. That way we can measure it, and the way we measure it is by putting it on top of it like so. Once you put it on top of it, you are sure where you're gonna place it, because all the motherboards and all the GPUs are different, and the slots as well. And once you do that, you are ready just to remove them, and you go ahead and remove the screws, and then you just remove the slot holders. Those are just placeholders, and then you just place your GPU, screw it in, then we put the lid back and then screw it, and then we finalize by giving it some power by using the PCI Express connector that is from the power supply unit. That way we have maximum performance and nothing goes wrong with the build. We proceed to connect the mullet connector, male to female, to the case fans. That way we will be looking like this. I also connected the hard drive and give it some power as well. And there you have it, guys. This is the finished build. As you guys can see, this is the front and the back. I went ahead and organized some of the cables in the cable sleeve that came in the case included, and as you guys can see, this is all the build completed. I couldn't correct the fan, but I'll do it later once I finish the video. I'm going ahead and I'm gonna close down the lid, that way you guys can admire the finished product. Let's go ahead and boot up, but don't forget to turn on the power supply. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. My little sister did the honors to peel off the plastic that was covering the case. Alright, and the only thing left is to install the windows, and we're golden. But how does it do in performance? But I got this prepared. I did a montage. That way you can see the FPS, the temperature that is running, and also if you see any game that you wanna see me testing on this computer, just let me know in the comments below. But I'm not gonna talk anymore, so I'll let you enjoy the show.